Ambassador, Vanakkam, Shalom, Namaste, and welcome to Chennai.
Thank you, Vanakkam.
How is Chennai treating you?
Chennai is one of my favorite cities in the world. It's a great place. I love the vibe, the culture, the people. My last trip to India before I became ambassador, when I was just the mayor of Los Angeles, was here in Chennai and the south of India. So it feels wonderful to be back.
Ambassador, a lot of exciting things are scheduled. Our Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be in the United States the following Thursday.
That's right.
What can one expect from the ensuing Modi-Biden summit? How will this transform the already flourishing ties between India and the United States?
Well, I'll be leaving straight from here to Delhi and then on to Washington to join your Prime Minister, my President, in what's really a historic moment. But it's not just one moment. It's not about just one visit. We're living through a historic movement, I think, of two countries who have always had strong friendship between our peoples, who now have government and business relations that are really off the charts. I think that the U.S. and India are stronger together. It's one of the reasons I accepted this post when President Biden asked me to fulfill it. But I think if you look at the investments between our countries, they've never been higher. We're the #1 trade partner with India. And you can expect to see a deepening of those trade ties. Second, security. We now have an Indo-Pacific, which includes not only the Pacific, but the Indian Ocean, and a desire to see a free, open, fair world for commerce, a place where our people don't fear war. And I think you'll see movement there to strengthen those defense ties and those strategic ties together.
Ambassador, as you mentioned, we not just share common values, we have common concerns, especially on the security front. What is the United States' view about the security concern India faces in its south, in the Indian Ocean?
Well, we want to be a partner in the Indian Ocean. We want to help have awareness of what's going on in the seas. We want Indian boats to feel secure in the Indian Ocean. And we want to bring a coalition together with Indian of people that are in this region who believe that everybody should be able to travel securely, that nobody should be threatened on her borders, that we should make sure that the oceans are alive and healthy with biodiversity. So the Indian Ocean Dialogue and the work that India has really led is a place where the United States is ready to follow. And I think this visit will turn people's attention not just to the Pacific, but also to the Indo-Pacific, so that in the United States people will realize India's security is linked to our security, and vice versa. So whether it's been naval exercises that we do together, whether it's coming together to look at making sure that we have that biodiversity and our oceans are clean and healthy and full of life, or whether it's looking at the ways we can ensure that trade isn't seized by anybody, that ports and other things are free for all people. That is a common concern, and I think that you'll see some great steps in this coming week.
How about the elephant in the room?
Which elephant's that?
China?
So, I think the U.S.-India relationship doesn't depend on any third nation. But certainly the U.S. and India stand against the idea of autocracy. We stand for democracy. We stand against the idea that technology should be used to oppress or divide people. It should unite and connect people. And we, I think, have shown that friendship with each other. But I'll also say India wants to have a more peaceful relationship with China. So does the United States with China. But we have to also show the world that the strength of our relationship, hopefully not just with that country, but with any country, will deter bad action, will reinforce democracy, will show people that when we do things peaceably, the whole world is better.
When it comes to this matter, do you think there's a convergence of interests between India and the United States?
There's no question. I think we see that it's very existential here with a shared border. For us, we've said, look, we will compete where we compete, but we also want to collaborate where we need to collaborate. We can't lift up people out of poverty. We can't deal with climate change. We can't move forward with women's empowerment if not all nations are together. So it would be my great hope that even as India and the U.S. stand strong together about what we're against, we also stand strong together about what we're for, inviting every nation to join us.
What role does the United States envisage for India and the Indo-Pacific region?
I think India, first of all, is the Indo-Pacific region. It's not about a role. You embody what this region is. I think it's a great place for a surging economy, now the third largest in terms of purchasing power parity. Soon will be the third largest in absolute terms. It's a place where we can diversify supply chains, as we saw so beautifully during the pandemic when Indian pharmaceutical and biotech companies were so important to healing and keeping people protected. We'd like to see more manufacturing here. We also think there's joint production we can do of defense together. We think that we can see some of the work around climate, whether it's green hydrogen, whether it's electric buses, that India can be the place where many of the solutions come from in partnership with us, or through the Quad with Japan and Australia and other groups like I2U2, which brings Israel and United Arab Emirates, India and the US together. These will show the world that when we cooperate together, anything is achievable. And here in the Indo-Pacific, we want to be a model of not only free seas, but also of a place where people can achieve their dreams without government impediments.
You famously remarked once, there's no Indo-Pacific without India.
Exactly. You cannot have the Indo-Pacific without India. I used to serve as a naval officer, and I met fellow naval officers from India, and we did drills together, exercises. We planned for the worst, but let us also prepare for the best. Let us see what we can do to put our dreams out there in the Indo-Pacific and be a beacon of light onto this world.
And Ambassador, what is the expectation on the Hill about the next week's event? Prime Minister Narendra Modi will have the rare honor of addressing the joint session of the Congress. What is the expectation on the Hill?
I think anybody who watches American politics sometimes sees, like in any democracy, like here, sometimes there's divisions, things that pull us apart. But I'll tell you one thing that brings us together as Americans, it's India. Republican and Democrat, Congress and the President. There really is no daylight between us. We know that our future and our desire really rests with India, and that India has for a long time, and Indians, been investing in the United States. And to me, this address to Congress will just solidify that this isn't a partisan issue in America, which is very rare this day for something not to be partisan. It is really a people issue, it's a peace issue, it's a prosperity issue, it's a planetary issue.
Prime Minister Modi is also one of the very few world leaders who gets the opportunity to address the joint session of the Congress for the second time.
Correct.
One of the very few leaders.
Absolutely. And I think it really shows this honor. This is only the third time any Indian leader has come for a state visit. It's only the third state visit that, that President Biden has hosted. And he's one of the few who have addressed Congress twice. So to me, that elevates two people who get along. I mean, think about Prime Minister Modi and President Biden. Both came from very humble backgrounds. They both kind of fight for the common man, and they represent countries that have huge aspirations. The American dream and the Indian dream, they feel like one and the same thing, and we'll see that reflected.
Do they share personal chemistry also?
Absolutely, we've seen it. You saw the hug in Hiroshima in Japan. They're folks who like people, who immediately connect, and I think there's real chemistry there, but it's not just the chemistry of two leaders, it's the chemistry of two peoples. Americans love Indians, Indians love Americans. I would like to build an even stronger bridge, though, not just from India to America, because Indians in India know so much about Americans and America, but Americans and America are waking up to India and Indians. And if I can spend my time here as ambassador, bringing more Americans, inviting more Americans, exchanging more so that America knows India as well as I have throughout my entire life, I know that it will enrich their lives and it will strengthen the world.
Before I let you go, as you said, in this relationship, South India has played a very important, unique role in furthering ties between the two countries. What is your message to the people of South India, Tamil Nadu in Chennai in particular?
Well, if you'll engage me, I'd say, Yadum Ure, Yavarum Kelir.
Wow.
We're really one people.
Very impressive.
We may seem different. You can also say in Hindi, a relationship, some say, Alag Desh, Alag Rivaj, which means another country, another custom. But it's really one people with a common heart.
Also comes close to Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
Exactly, exactly. And for us, we know that the South, in many ways, has been the cultural, historic heart of this nation. It certainly is the economic powerhouse. I saw that whether it was going to the temple or coming here, whether it was meeting with the chief minister, or being able to hear the dreams and aspirations of folks that are the creators here. This is the center in so many ways of what's next in India, of what's coming. And my message to South India is, I've come here for the first visit, but I'm going to be back very often.
Welcome back, Ambassador.
Thank you
very much.
Great to be
with you.
Meeting you.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you.